Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to tackle a question that seems almost, well, childishly simple, but the answer is anything but. We're asking, why are plants green? It's the color of life, it's everywhere you look, but as we're about to see, it's also one of nature's biggest and most fascinating puzzles.
So here's the core of the mystery, right here. Photosynthesis is all about one thing, grabbing energy from sunlight to make food. You'd think, logically, that over billions of years of evolution, plants would get really, really good at absorbing every single drop of light they can. And yet, they throw away the very color the sun gives them the most of. It seems totally backward, like a massive design flaw.
And this chart shows you it's not just a feeling, it's a fact. Look at this. On the left, that big bar shows the sun's peak energy output. Bam, right in the green part of the spectrum. And on the right, that's the light that leaves reflect the most. They line up almost perfectly. Plants are literally rejecting the most plentiful item on the energy menu. So, what on earth is going on?
All right, to get to the bottom of this, our investigation has to start with the most obvious culprits, the pigments inside the leaf. You know, this is the explanation we all got in high school biology, but trust me, it's only chapter 1 of a much deeper story.
Okay, first, a super quick physics refresher, because it's key. The color we see isn't the color an object is using. It's the exact opposite. It's the color it's rejecting. The actual energy that a plant can use to do work comes from the light it absorbs. Everything else just gets bounced back to our eyes, and that's the color we end up seeing.
Think about it like a simple red t-shirt. That shirt looks red because the dye in the fabric is soaking up all the blue light, all the green light, pretty much everything except red. The red light has nowhere to go, so it just bounces off into your eyes. Plants, they work on the exact same principle. So let's meet the two star players doing all the work, chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Chlorophyll A, he's the main workhorse. He absolutely loves to absorb light way over in the violet, blue, and red parts of the spectrum. And his sidekick, chlorophyll B, helps out by grabbing some of the nearby blue and orange-red light. But do you see what's missing? There is a gigantic hole right in the middle of the spectrum. And this chart just makes it crystal clear. If you look at all the light that chlorophyll actually uses, the huge majority of it, we're talking 80%, comes from the blue and red ends. And green light? Fifth. It barely even registers, making up only about 10% of what's absorbed. This big dip in the middle, this green valley, is why plants look green. So mystery solved, right? We can all go home? Not even close. Because just when you think you have the simple, neat answer, science comes along and throws a massive wrench in the works. It turns out that when you look at how plants work in the real world, the role of green light gets completely flipped on its head.
Get this, a major study found something that seems completely impossible. When the sun is actually shining, that useless green light we were just talking about, it actually drives photosynthesis more effectively than the red light that chlorophyll loves to absorb. How is that even possible?
This table lays out the hard data. This quantum yield is basically just a measure of efficiency, how much photosynthetic bang for your buck you get for each particle of light. Now, in low light, on the left, everything is just as we'd expect. Green is the loser, the least efficient, but look what happens when you crank up the brightness to mimic a sunny day. The efficiency of blue and red light actually drops. Meanwhile, green light's efficiency skyrockets, often becoming the most powerful of all.
So now we have an even deeper, even weirder paradox on our hands. How can the light that's mostly being ignored suddenly become the plant's most productive energy source, right when the sun is at its strongest? To figure that out, we have to stop looking at the pigments and start looking at the incredible architecture of the leaf itself. You see, to really solve this mystery, we have to stop thinking of a leaf as just a simple green-colored bit of paper. We have to start seeing it for what it truly is, a breathtakingly sophisticated piece of optical machinery. The answer to our puzzle isn't just chemical, it's architectural. It's about engineering. The leaf is designed not just to absorb light, but to manage it, to distribute it, and to optimize every single photon that comes its way. Its internal structure is the secret. So let's follow the light on its journey. Okay, so sunlight hits the leaf. The red and blue photons, which are super easily absorbed by chlorophyll, get snatched up almost instantly right at the surface in this top layer of cells. But the green light, which is only weakly absorbed, it's different. It punches right through that top layer and travels deeper, down into the leaf's core, into a layer called the spongy mesophyll. And that is where the magic happens. This spongy mesophyll layer is perfectly named. It's not a neat, orderly stack of cells. It's this messy, chaotic-looking jumble of weirdly shaped cells and tiny air gaps. And what this structure creates is basically an internal hall of mirrors. As soon as green light enters the zone, it just starts bouncing and scattering in every possible direction. And that scattering, that's the whole trick. It's like a game of light particle pinball. It dramatically increases the total distance that a green photon travels inside the leaf. So while the chance of it getting absorbed at any one point is pretty low, by forcing it to take this long, zigzagging, crazy path, the leaf makes sure that eventually almost all of that green light gets captured by a chlorophyll molecule somewhere deep inside. It brilliantly turns a low probability into a near certainty. So, we now understand the how. The leaf's physical structure is this incredible machine for capturing green light. But that still leaves us with the big question: why? Why did this ridiculously complex system evolve in the first place? For that answer, we have to travel back in time, like billions of years back. There's this amazing idea called the purple Earth hypothesis. It goes like this. The very first life forms to figure out how to use sunlight didn't use chlorophyll. They used a different, simpler molecule that made them look, well, purple. And guess what color that purple pigment was best at absorbing? You got it, green. So for millions and millions of years, these purple microbes ruled the planet, basically hogging all the prime real estate in the light spectrum. So when the ancestors of modern plants finally showed up, they were forced to make do with the leftovers. The only light that wasn't already being eaten up was at the far red and blue ends of the spectrum. They had to evolve to survive on the scraps. And you can see this exact principle of adapting to what's available happening all over the planet today. Just compare a regular land plant with some deep water algae. Up here on land, in the bright sun, plants use chlorophyll to grab red and blue light, and they use the green light to carefully distribute that energy. But way down deep in the ocean, where most of the red and blue light has been filtered out by the water, the only color left is green. So what do the algae do? They evolve completely different pigments that are amazing at absorbing that scarce green light. It just proves that nature absolutely can evolve to absorb green light perfectly, but only when it needs to. So after our deep dive into pigments, physics, architecture, and even ancient history, it's time to bring it all together and deliver the final verdict on why plants are green. When you put it all together, being green isn't a flaw at all. It's a masterpiece of design. By reflecting some green light at the surface, the leaf avoids getting a kind of cellular sunburn in its top layers from too much intense energy all at once. That same green light is then able to travel deeper, delivering power to the whole leaf, not just the surface. It's the perfect balance between capturing as much energy as possible and preventing long-term damage. It's all about total system efficiency, not just raw power. So no, being green is not some ancient evolutionary mistake. It is an incredibly sophisticated and, really, an elegant solution to the very high-stakes problem of how to live and thrive under the full, unfiltered power of a star. And that kind of leaves you with one final thought, doesn't it? What other things that we see every day in the natural world, things that look like mistakes or weird inefficiencies, what if they're actually brilliant, subtle solutions to problems we haven't even thought to ask about yet? Thanks so much for joining me.